have a session on Adobe Lightroom. Okay, I don't know how many guys are familiar with the software. It's a version used for photographers all around the world for processing their images. You may have been familiar with Adobe Photoshop. Both the softwares have two different purposes. When it comes to Adobe Photoshop, it's an image manipulation software. So, hello guys, can you hear me everyone? Can we start the session? Hello,
Yes,
hello.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the thing is, the main difference between Adobe Photoshop and Lightroom is when it comes to Adobe Photoshop, it's a image manipulation software and you can do multiple things with the images along with other factors such as you can merge two pictures, you can cut and remove some part of the image and you can do some manipulating content over the image. Apart from that, you can add text, those kind of things to the image. But when it comes to Adobe Lightroom, it's a software designed entirely for the purpose of editing an image. It is similar to the old darkroom practices practiced by the old photographers. Like there will be the things which are essential for every photographer. So there are few key features of Adobe Lightroom. I will say that the first thing is it is non-destructive. Non-destructive in the sense whatever the changes you are making to an image, it can be undoed or redoed again. So, or if you do some editing to an image and if you are not satisfied with it, you can reset it at any time. The second thing is it's the one of the best software for photographers. There are few alternatives now, but worldwide when you are taking something like a professional software, Adobe Lightroom still holds the number one place. And the other things are it's easy to make adjustments. Like when it comes to Photoshop, if you have to do some adjustments, you will go to different tab, like you will go to edit, image adjustments, and you will go to contrast, brightness, those kind of things. Here, everything will be available on the right side of your develop tab. So the other thing is one of the most essential and sorry, one of the reason for Lightroom to have a huge reach is batch processing. You can process multiple images at the same time and you can simultaneously edit an image if you like the style and you have some other pictures which are also shot on the same style. You can just copy the edited settings and you can apply it to all other images and it's very time saving and it will be very helpful. So we will start the session now. We will open the Lightroom. Okay guys, hello guys, can you see the Lightroom screen now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the thing is, when it comes to Adobe Lightroom, there are a few things I said, like it's non-destructive, it's best for photographers, and it's easy to make quick adjustments, and you can process multiple images at the same time. Similar ways, for understanding the Lightroom, you have to have a basic idea of how software works. So most of the software, you know, right? The thing will be first you will import the content for the thing, and you will edit it. You will make some necessary correction, and you will export it. The same formula applies for Adobe Lightroom as well. So in Lightroom, when we open it, it will show a tab like this. So here already there are a few images open. So you just skip that. The other thing is when we open the image, there will be few tabs in the Lightroom panel. Whenever you click the Lightroom panel, it will be like this. And the difference is you have to first import the image. Before importing, we have to have an idea about how you import the image, how you process the image, and how you export the image. So library, so you have to choose library here. In the right side, there are few things like library, develop, map, book, slideshow, print, and web. You don't have to worry about anything. Just you have to concentrate on two things. The first thing is library, and the second thing is develop. So library is the place where you import the image and where you export the image. Everything happens in library. And in the develop module, you will be editing the image. So when we take something like image, when you come to library module, you can either import the image by clicking here on the left corner, left bottom corner, there will be an icon called import. You can click it and import image, or else there is another way. You can go to file, import photos and videos, or else Control Shift I. If you click that, it will open our system space, and in the left side you can choose from where you have to download the image. So I have selected few pictures and put it in a folder called Lightroom. So it's in the new volume E, and I have chosen Lightroom. So it shows few changes, like it shows some tick. So I can choose according to my need. If I have 100 pictures or something, or if I have 50 pictures, I only need 10 pictures, I can simultaneously choose from here. If I remove the tick mark, only the pictures with the tick mark gets imported to the software. So I'm choosing the 3 images and I'm clicking import. So those 3 images comes under the bottom tilebar. So now we are in the library tab. It's used for importing the images. And when you are in library tab, you have to understand 3 columns. The first thing is the left column and the workspace and the right column. When it comes to left column, there will be few things like from where you have downloaded the image. So now I have downloaded from Lightroom. The folder name is Lightroom. I have downloaded it. Then there is a thing called collection. Here you can add a collection, for example. So there are 3 pictures of 3 landscapes, like on Taj Mahal picture is the other landmark picture and other one landmark picture. So if I need to add a collection, I have to just click and create collection, and I can give a name to it, for example, landmark. And I can click create. So it will create a collection called landmark. So if I want to add those images here, I can easily add the images here. Just I have to click and drag it to here. And if I click the landmark collection, there is only 1 picture. But if I want to add other 2 pictures as well, I just have to click and drag it and drop it on landmark. So it will be there. So similar ways, if you are taking some portrait pictures, or if you are having some collection, you are specialized in certain kind of photography. If you want to maintain a collection, it will be very useful. So if you are editing multiple pictures at the same time, and if you choose few pictures, or if you are planning for a portfolio, you can create a collection of portfolio here, and you can add your best pictures directly by clicking and dragging it here. The second thing is the workspace. I will explain it to you in detail there. And the third thing is the right model. Right model, there are few settings like quick development settings. Quick development settings, there are few basic correction you can do. Like if you can have a preset, you can apply your preset. There are default presets by Adobe. Then you can choose the white balance, those kind of things are there. And you can give keywords. Then there will be metadata, like if you click an image, it will show the metadata of the image, like in which camera it was shot and which of the focal length, which of the shutter speed, everything it will show. So here the images are shot in Canon 60D, every details will be there. So this is all about the library module. So library module gives you an idea about how images work. So I have selected 3 images, and if I want to edit it, all I have to do is I have to click develop. So develop is the very important tab. It will help in editing the image to a great extent. So I have clicked develop, and the image got opened into a new tab. So here we can make necessary changes. So if you want to edit an image, what are the things you have to do? Like when it comes to changing an exposure or something, when you take something like a familiar software, like an Adobe Photoshop, you have to go to image, edit, brightness or exposure or those kind of things. Here, every changes you need to make comes under the right fit column. So all you have to do is just adjust the slider according to your need, and it will help in producing a better edited image. So here the first thing is histogram. Histogram, as you guys know, the left side indicates white. Sorry, left side indicates the black. The other few things are there. Like first thing is left side indicates the black, and then comes the shadows, then comes the midtones, then comes the highlights, and then comes the white. So this can be, if you adjust or make some correction, the histogram changes accordingly. So first thing is, we will start off with basic correction. The first thing there is white balance. When you wanna get a perfect white balance, you can choose wisely. The first thing is, it can be of a shot, how the white balance is set while taking the picture. Other thing is, there are some default settings of in camera, like auto settings is there, daylight setting or tungsten. Whatever your white balance style is, you can adjust it. Here we can also manually adjust it. So I am adjusting it manually. Or else, if you have a clear idea about the image, you can use this white balance picker tool. You have to just click it, and you have to find a white space in the image and just click it, and it will set the white balance for you. So the next thing is exposure settings. As you guys know, exposure will be considered as the bright and dark of the image, and the basic thing is everything here is based on a slider. So you can make some adjustment. Like if you slide it down, it will be underexposed, and if you slide it on the right side, it will be overexposed. So you have to slide it in a certain way to reach the certain results. And the next thing is contrast. You can add a little contrast for the image. The next thing is comes under highlights. As you know, highlights will be the brightest portion in the image. So if you adjust the highlight, it will retain data. If you move it to the left, if you move it to the right, it loses the data in the highlight. So we are preserving the highlight to a certain extent. Then when it comes to shadows, if you move the slider to the left, it will darken the shadows. If you move it to the right, it will extract details from the shadows. The next thing, if white is there, you can make some adjustment. Similarly, blacks. And the next thing is clarity. If you want to adjust some clarity, you can adjust some clarity. Here, I'm not going to make any change. There is a word called dehaze. So if there are any haze in the image, you can adjust it. Then you can add vibrance if you need. Then there is saturation, and there is a tone curve. As you guys might have been familiar with tone curve, it is used in most softwares like Adobe Photoshop and all. Here also the same concept, like highlights over here, midtones, and the shadows. You can make adjustments. Like if you want to make some correction, you can make something like an S curve. So it will make or help to pop up the image. And there is one of the tab called HFL, which indicates for hue, saturation, and luminance. Hue stands for the color tint. So each color will have a certain type of color tint to it. So if you take something like a red color, it will also have a orange as well as a magenta tint. So you can adjust it. If you want to make some correction, you can move the slider on. in here, in the particular image, there is a sky, it was little blue. So I can go to the blue and I can adjust it to another blue or a darker bluer version of it, or go to a violet version. So similar ways, if you take a green color, it has multiple tints. So if I change it to the left, it will turn into yellow, and if I turn it to the right, it will be proper green. So similar ways, we can make some adjustments to the image. And the next tab is saturation. If you want to adjust the saturation, you can adjust the saturations. Saturation will be the intensity of the color. So every color will be having a certain intensity. So saturation decides the intensity of the color, and the third part is brightness of the color. That's called luminance. So if I make some changes to a certain color, like if you, for example, if I take something like a green color and I'm selected luminance tab and I'm making some changes. I have choose blue. If I move it down, it will bright, like underexpose, and if I move it to the right, it will brighten the satin color. The next thing is split toning. Split toning is used for grading the image, like you guys know. It is easy to color grade image in Lightroom. So here you can choose the highlight color. If I want something like a yellow to be highlight, okay, I can choose it. And for shadows, I can choose something like a purple color, and it will help to color grade an image. So, and I can balance it, like how much highlight it has to have and how much shadow it has to have. So here you can see this is the before and this is the after. So if I am not fine with the result, I can reduce the saturation intensity and it will definitely help. So this is the before and this is the after. So like it is, split toning is used to color grade an image. The next thing is sharpening. You can sharpen the image according to your needs. And it also has layer masking. If you click on Alt while moving the mask, it will show a tab like in a black and white way. So if you move the masking towards the right, the white portion will be the exact places where the sharpening will apply. So if I remove the mask to entire left and I move the sharpening will affect the overall image. But if I give a mask and move it towards the right hand, only this white portion will get sharpened. The next thing is you can add noise reduction. If there are some noise in your image, you can definitely add some noise reduction. And there are, when it comes to Adobe Lightroom, it's a highly advanced software and it can help in removing the lens correction, like a lens abbreviation or something. So all you have to do is enable it, and it can defaultly like understand or find out which Canon equipment and lens it was shot, and it will make some necessary adjustment to it. So before making the correction, it was like this. After making the correction, it removes the distortion at the end. So it helps in a certain extent. And the final thing is you can transform the image to make some necessary vertical or perspective corrections. And you can add vignettes as well. Like if you want to add some little vignette to draw attention to towards the subject, you can make something. And you can give grain, those kind of things here. So these are the basic settings, and if you are not fine with any of the setting, you can change it at any time. But when it comes to Photoshop, you will be working based on layers, and if you want to have a non-destructive workflow, you can definitely use adjustment layers, but you have to make it in every single step, and it's a tedious process. But when it comes to Lightroom, everything is available readily on the right side column. So you have to choose whatever you want, and you have to adjust the slider, and you will get the result, and it will be very helpful. So if you want to see the before and after, So you can see the before and after here. So this was the before image and this was the after image. So to a certain extent, you can edit the image according to your personal preference and need. So thing is, in the right side column, everything will be available defaultly. So you have to just make some adjustment to the slider. And if you are not fine with it, you can always reset it. And for every tab inside the column, you can just see the before and after by turning on and turning off the curves or adjustment layers. Everything will be there. So what sets Lightroom apart from other softwares that you have to know. So I have also selected similar two images, like here there is an image and there is another image. So what sets Lightroom apart? So I have edited a single image of a Taj Mahal and I have made some correction. And I think this style may help in editing another image. So I don't have to make every changes in the right side column here. What I do is I will click this image, I will right click it, I will go to develop settings, copy settings, and it will help me in choosing the settings, and I will click copy, and I will just click on this image and right click it. Similar ways, go to develop setting and I will click paste settings, and it will paste the same style to this image. So it is so time saving. So as you can see, I haven't even edited this image anything. Like I will reset it. This is the original state of the image. I will maximize the screen. So this is how it looks. I have only edited a picture of Taj Mahal, and this is the before and after, and I want to apply the similar settings to the other image. So what I do is I will right click, go to develop settings, and I will click paste setting, and it will copy the style from that image and apply it to this image. So if I want to make any correction after that, I can. So all the settings are applied in the right side column, and I can adjust it now according to my need. So here the image is in a not enough straightened position. So here there's a crop overlay, and it will can be also used as a straighten tool. The thing is, you have to click it, and if you want to crop it, you have to adjust as the corner, or if you want to rotate or straighten it, you can move to the corner and take the image to the right or left and click done, and it will rotate the image for you. The second thing is spot removal tool. It is kind of similar to the healing brush tool in Photoshop. If you are not liking a certain portion of the image, you just click the spot removal tool and just click on the place. I want to remove this crow from the frame. I click it and it will automatically remove based on the surrounding area. So I'm also removing this. I just click it. I remove it. That's all. So if I want them back, it's simple. You can either give control effect or just you can give reset. Under the spot removal tool, you just click reset and it will bring the images back. So I have removed it. The next thing is red eye correction. In these days, red eye correction are very less when it comes to advanced cameras. In the olden days, like before 3 or 4 years, when you take some picture with a digital camera and a flash on, the flash gets to the subject eyes and it will be reflected. So it will create a red eye kind of thing. It can be removed automatically, and there is a gradient tool as well. Similar to the tool in gradient here, if you click any of the icon, the separate tab will be opening due to their properties. So when I click a gradient tool, it will open a different section. And I can apply a gradient, I can choose the color, and I can make correction according to my need. The settings or the options given will be very simple, so that a minor adjustment will help you to understand the process. Like when you take an image into Photoshop, and you have to have an idea what are you going to do with the image, only then you can work on the image, or else you will be getting confused, because every tab will act as a different purpose. When it comes to Adobe Lightroom, everything will be available readily on the right side, so it will be easier for the user to choose what are the things you have to apply and what are the things you don't want to apply. So I have added few settings, and if I am happy with it, I will click done. And this is the before, and this is the after. For seeing the before and after, you have to click this icon. Like it will be on the bottom third icon. It will be showing the before and after. So if I am fine with this result, what I have to do, simple. I will right click the image. I will go to develop setting and I will copy settings, and I will click copy. I will go to that image. This is a fresh image. I haven't even edited it. I will right click it, go to develop setting, and I will give paste setting, and it will apply the style to the image. But there are few corrections to be done. The first things being straightening the image. I will reset it. So it will straighten it to the certain extent, and I will add the exposure to an extent. So it will look good. So that's all. So you can process multiple images of the same time, but when you take something like an Adobe Photoshop, the difference is every single images will be on a different tab, and you have to swap tab one by one, and you cannot work on multiple images on a certain time due to the limits it has on the tab. But here, every image you import will be brought below a set tile. Here I have imported 3 images. I can import it up to 1000 images. Everything will be here one by one in a tile. So if I want to edit an image, I can swap and see before the before picture and the after picture. And I can easily swap and see, and I can easily make some adjustments here. So the thing is, I didn't go to any other different icons or something. Everything was readily available on the right side. So if you practice these things, like go to the library, you will import the image, and you will come to the develop module and you will edit the image. And as you can see the before and after, it will make a huge difference. So, and after, the first thing is importing the image. We have imported using the library module. The second thing is developing. We have developed it. And now we want to export the images. So for that, we will go to the library module. In the library module, near left bottom, near the import button, there will be an option called export. You can click that export button, and it will give you some option like where you want to export it to a specific folder or to a certain place. And if you want to rename the images, you can either rename the images. You can increase the quality of the image, like now it's set to 80% if you want, according to your need. If you are using it for printing purpose, you can give 100. If you are uploading it on social media or something, yeah, medium quality will do good. So that will be enough. And if you want to add some watermark, you can add those things. And if you have some certain presets, you can apply it before exporting. One of the important thing I left out is, in the develop module, you have applied few settings, and if you are so happy with the settings, like this is one of the best image edit I have done in recent times. If you get a feeling or something like that, what you can do is you can save this editing pattern as a preset. All you have to do it now. There are a few corrections done to the image. All I have to do is, in the left tab, there is a thing called preset. I will click the plus icon, and it will show also plus icon, it will say create preset. So all the settings I applied will be available in the bottom, and I can give a name to it. So I will give the preset a name called landmark. So, and I have given any chances, and I can put it in certain group, and I can give create. So it will create a preset called landmark in the left tab. So if I am importing an image newly, I can I close this session and export these images, and after 5 days I'm opening a new set of pictures, and I want to look how this edit will apply on this image. All I have to do is, if you take this image, I'm resetting it. So this is as fresh as it was started. I'm just making some crop corrections. Done. And all I have to do is go to the left preset tab and click the landmark icon. So this is the preset I have saved already, and by just a single click, the image will be edited with the editing style which was done in an earlier session. Or at any course of time you have a style you like, a certain way of editing, you can always save it as a preset and it will definitely save your time. So when it comes to export, as I said, you will go to library, you will click export in the left bottom, it will show some suggestions, or else all you can do is go to develop, select the image you want to export, like the first image is selected now, or you can select multiple images by holding the control, go to file and give export. And it will also open the same tab as of in the library. You can choose whether there is any correction or something. So now I'm going to export it to the same folder as of the original photo, and I'm going to give it as a new name, choose a different name for an exported file, because or else it will create duplicates. And I'm clicking export and it will export the images.